Got it. All right. Good luck quieting that child down.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
All right. Pat, I know Nicole was at the tree committee meeting because I just listened to the recording this afternoon. Pat, did you hear me?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. It sounds like she's doing quite a bit of work on the Arbor Day certification. All right, well, I left a message for Nicole. And if you see on the agenda, I'm going to be in Florida in December, and so we're not going to have a December meeting. So this is going to be a gap here.
Can I ask a question?
Mhm.
Is the Wyman Park trail all done, or is it just partially done?
Oh, and go ahead and talk about that. We're not going to take any action on anything, but yeah, while we're waiting for see if we have anybody else join us, go ahead and yes, because everybody's interested in this, I know, and it's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
So it's I mean it exists now. We've cut it back. A lot of it was there already, so it was kind of just reestablishing it, uh, raking and snipping stuff, clearing down trees. But um, it's a full walkable loop now, and we started Tuesday. Um, pulling out stumps and leveling some of the trail that was pretty uneven, hard on ankles, just to make it a little bit easier of a walk, uh, make it safer. But we're getting there. We have a couple more days out there. Uh, we'll probably mid-December have it, ready to go.
And you really can walk it now. There's a trail closed sign up there, but it can be walked. There's just that one spot where you have to jump over kind of a wet area that might be a little problematic.
That was my next question: is how wet is it back there? Do you need like waterproof boots to go through there?
I'd recommend it for some of the spots that we haven't put bog boards in yet. But so we've had 4 projects out there so far, and each time we've brought 2 bog boards out onto the trail. So we're slowly chipping away at the wet spots.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then there's one where there's going to need to be a bridge, so you have to take a little bit of a leap to get over it. But But it was Wildlands Trust had an amazing crew out there. I mean, how many people were there? Maybe were there 10, 12, Owen? I went out on
Yeah, I
Tuesday
think
morning.
we had a dozen people. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and nobody from Bridgewater. There were Plymouth, and that was all I heard. I didn't hear where else the people were from.
Yeah, Plymouth, Halifax, Wareham.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so they were just out there just working hard from what was it, 10 to 1 or so? Yeah.
10 to 1. Yep.
Yeah. I went out for the end and didn't do any work. I just talked to Owen, but that was my work. So, but anyway, it's really pretty. It's very, very nice trail. Oh, and when you say those trails were there before, what do you mean? Just were they deer trails or just, I mean, you didn't have trails there before, did you?
No, they weren't from us. I think hunters made them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because we found multiple tree stands out there. I think I told you we saw the guy hunting by boat,
Yeah.
but they were pretty open trails when we started.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to see them when there's walls of vegetation in the middle of the summer, and they don't show up as like a trail. They show up as like, that looks a little bit easier to walk through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you mentioning hunters brings up another question, is that I have no idea what seasons what. I know there's certain seasons for bow and arrow, certain for certain
All right,
guns.
let me just Maureen, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Nicole is going to join us. So why don't we wait and see if she comes on, because otherwise we probably shouldn't get into too much discussion here about this stuff, because actually what you're raising is kind of an important issue. So
did you see where a hunter with a bow and arrow shot a bear today in Halifax?
I saw that on the news.
Isn't that awful? Oh,
can they hunt bears?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's legal in Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah, you just don't, they're so new to here that we don't really, we're faced with that very often.
I don't. There has been one sighted out at Wyman Meadow.
Yeah.
So a bear could be hunted out there.
Well, yeah.
No. Yeah.
Eileen, where did you say one was seen? Where'd you say?
Yeah, John Hart reported that people were seeing a bear out there, I guess more than once.
No, out where?
At Wyman Meadow.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. Good to know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, it might be the one that got killed today in Halifax.
That could be, yeah. Yeah, we probably drove it out of Wyman Meadow, and poor thing didn't have a better place to go. So, all right, let's see. Here's chat. Where's all right, I'm trying to. No, Nicole isn't coming yet, but I'm still hoping she will.
Well, the other news today, did you see that woman drove into the lake?
No.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Right down by where? I mean, just on the road from 104?
I think she went right off the boat ramp. And quite a ways in, according to the picture.
Like intentionally?
Down here at the NIP, yeah.
Yeah, but she did that intentionally, or she just...
Well, she has problems, or if it was intentional. If it was intentional, she should have picked a deeper lake. Because she was just stuck out there.
Wow.
But I don't know if it was
she got out, I take it.
She could have blacked out or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She got out, okay.
They said yes. Yes, someone helped her out of the car.
Huh.
The lake is only maximum 5 feet deep in most areas.
Yeah.
So, the car didn't get submerged. It was up to the window, though.
Yeah, I can believe that, yeah. You know, I'm gonna make sure I'm actually looking at the waiting room. Where do I go for that? Oh, there she is. All right, I was there. I was in the waiting room there. She's just showed up. All right. Hi, Nicole.
Hello. Sorry.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
'Cause we
Yeah.
didn't-
Everything in my life needs to be in my calendar or I have zero chance of remembering.
Right.
So I wish these meetings came as meeting invites because
Oh,
I have to put them in.
oh, well, that's interesting. You know, that's something we got to ask Josh about.
Yeah. I don't know if they can do that, but
I mean, I have gotten them from Michael Dutton's secretary that way.
oh, really?
Yeah. Um,
That would be life changing. I've been at up since 6 and then in Boston and on the train and picking kids up and trying to make dinner. And yeah, so it's a lot.
all right. Well, we'll make this quick.
Sorry, guys.
All right, I'm just writing a note to myself to meeting invite. All right. Okay, so this is the Open Space Committee meeting. Members present are myself, Eileen Heine, Maureen Manasian, and Nicole Holmes. So we do have a quorum. And the meeting is commencing at 7:17. And we also have Owen Gray from Wildlands Trust and Pat Neary, member of the public. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from October?
I'm not sure I was at the meeting, so I don't think I can.
Yeah, you can. You can. We've established that. You don't have to be there to approve
Oh,
it.
okay. Well,
Because
then
yeah, right.
let's approve the minutes.
All right. Nicole?
Yep, second.
All right. And I'm in favor of that. All right. That's good. Public comment. Pat, you have anything you want to say other than the news that somebody going into the lake today? No.
News of the day. No, that was
Okay. All right. So under new business, I have publicity. I don't know why I put this under new business actually, because we talked about it last week. Or last month, so it's really old business, but never mind. And Josh was on, but he had to get off because his baby was crying. Because I was going to ask him to talk about this a little bit because I did contact him about the suggestions we had. Nicole, I don't think you were at the last meeting, were you? Yeah. Okay. Well, we just talked about different ways of publicizing. We were focusing on Wyman Meadow, the project there and the new trail and stuff, but it kind of opened up to a bigger discussion of, whether we could have a Facebook page, whether our committee could have a Facebook page. So I talked with Josh about that, and Michael Sylvia did also. And Josh was going to tell us a little bit about what they thought could be done. It did sound like it was kind of unusual that that the town council, well, the town has a Facebook page, but he didn't think that most committees did, but he didn't seem opposed to it, so he was going to look into that. And the other thing I mentioned to him also that we had talked about at the meeting is what sort of publicity we could have for the opening of the Wyman Meadow Wildlands Trust trails. And he said, yeah, just write something up if we want him to do it as a news flash. And I mean, we're premature at that right now. And given that, I don't know, Owen, what do you think? If we would want to announce that in the winter, or we would be better off to wait until March or something?
I think the idea actually has started to make me a little nervous because of how wet the trail is. And if we have a lot of people out there at once, I don't want it to get ripped up.
Oh, okay.
But maybe, I don't know. I think
Yeah.
maybe a smaller thing with the committee and wildland staff.
Yeah, okay.
Would
And
be
maybe
great.
city council people or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I was surprised when I was out there the other day. There must have been there was a work day, Nicole. I don't know if you saw that. Wildlands Trust had a work day Tuesday, and there were must have been what there were about 8 to 10 cars parked out there, and they actually fit pretty well. I was surprised. They were parked on the road, but both sides of the road, and there really was plenty of room for access as long as people move over far enough. So it made me a little less concerned about having inviting people out for any kind of an event, because I was afraid that if we ever did that, there just would be we would overrun the place with cars. But there's really quite a lot of space. So, but anyway, that's
Well, the buzz around Bridgewater
yes,
had
right,
the notification about the volunteer days, so it
yeah,
seems that could be a good,
yes,
there could be a follow-up for when we're ready to say everybody
yes.
it's dry and everybody
Yeah.
should come out here. You could do it. You could use that. But who publishes that? That's not controlled by the town
No,
staff?
no,
It's a
no.
private? Okay.
It's a private thing. Yeah, yeah. Jackie, I can't think of her last name, but yeah, and you can. I mean, anybody can post. I mean, so that was a Wildlands Trust. They did that post.
Yep.
And it usually community things are free. I don't know if they charge you. Owen, do you know? Or
I don't know. I know Thomas, our communications coordinator, has been sending it out to
yeah,
a bunch of
yeah.
places. So I don't know what
Yeah,
he has to do.
I would guess it's probably free, for any kind of a community event. And then you can buy ads on there on the Buzz as well. But yeah, that was good notice. And also Wildlands Trust issued their newsletter recently, and they gave the Open Space Committee a nod and talked about just, that it was, I think it had the work schedule in there too, didn't it, Owen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So anyway, so I think somebody contacted me who had read it, and so I think gradually the word will get out, and yeah, we can decide when we want to do a more formal presentation of some sort. And I asked Josh also about the town council, and he said, yeah, if we just get on the schedule or something, and either Michael could do it or someone on the committee could just announce what's happening out there, what happened, because it is a really good story. So.
Well,
anyway,
also Bob Ruley's Facebook page from the Community and Economic Development seems to have a lot of viewers.
Well, is that the revitalization project though?
He posts a lot about that, but it's not only because it's basically for the Community and Economic Development.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's good to know. I didn't
Department.
know he had
Yeah.
one. Yeah, okay.
So obviously that's the biggest thing going on, but they posted the ribbon cutting, but they, for development. But to be honest, we should promote our open space and conservation to help kind of,
Well, that might actually be a better option even, rather than creating our own Facebook page. We gotta see how we could blend in with some of that, because I mean, one of the concerns I have is just whether we will actually have enough news to post on the Open Space Committee webpage, or whether it's just going to get kind of, not very active and nothing very current. But at least if we were tapping into the CED Facebook, that might be there'll be more people who are already interested in it, especially with this revitalization project going on. A lot of people are touching it.
Yeah, I'm just scrolling through. He's got some, like they posted the other day about the Bridge Center and about some of the programs they're doing with the, volunteering with, children and horses and stuff. So I think he's just trying to show good things that are happening in the community, even though a lot of it is the project, but still there's other stuff in here.
Yeah. I wonder if Josh doesn't know about that, because he didn't mention that to me. And, he doesn't work in community and economic development. So he seemed to think, that he, other than the either the town manager or the general town Facebook page, he didn't think there really was, there was one. He was going to have to check with their IT department, et cetera. But maybe just posting on Bob Ruley's is the way to go.
Yeah.
I'll check out. That's good. All right, and the other thing I thought about was I was going to, and I didn't get around to it, is calling the BTV, the Bridgewater Cable. I thought it'd be great if we could get a video of Wyman Meadow. Do you do any of that stuff? Does your publicity department do any of that, Owen?
Yeah, they do. They do. And we've, we
Okay.
have a photographer who
Yeah.
comes
Okay.
down once a year. New trails, he goes out and takes
Oh,
photos,
okay. Oh, all right.
takes
So
drone videos, and yeah,
he'll probably be doing that anyway then. Yeah.
yeah, he probably will.
All right. And so then at that point, if I could check with BTV. I don't know whether they only do their own. They only broadcast what they do, or whether they would. No, that's not true because they do all the churches in town that are just videoed. So yeah, maybe we could work with them to post for the town whatever Wildlands Trust can film.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they came to our when the tree committee planted the tree at the playground, they came.
BTV did.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They
Yeah.
edited it, they interviewed people, they filmed the whole thing. It was good. They did a great job.
Maybe and maybe we could even just get them out there for the next work day, which is going to be
Yeah.
Saturday when it's going to rain, though, right?
Yeah, so it'll be the Tuesday after
Yeah. Okay.
Thanksgiving is the
Okay.
next one.
Tuesday after Thanksgiving. All right. I might see if I can probably get somebody there to. Although again, I suppose, if you're worried about people going out there with it too wet, maybe we don't really want to publicize that much. But I don't know.
That should, you know what? I think it's a very good reason.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's wet, it's wet. People just turn around and if they don't have their boots on, they'll go home. And plus, I don't know if there's going to be that many throngs of people hiking at this time of year. Anyway, it's kind of the diehard. So
Yeah.
I don't think so.
yeah. All right. So Owen, why don't you go ahead and just describe, what the. I mean, do you have your? Oh, I know. Do you have your map? I wanted you to show the map. The one that you sent out, that was in your newsletter.
Oh, you know what? I'm on my personal laptop, and I
Oh,
think it's on my work computer.
okay.
But I've spent most of today working on the actual trail map that would be, posted at kiosks and trailheads.
Okay.
And I meant to send that one to myself to show it tonight, but I forgot.
Oh, okay.
But I will send it to you because it looks very good.
Yeah. The other thing we've talked a little bit, Owen and I talked the other day, is just starting to work on the signage, and how do we have to have, we don't want to have two sets of rules, so we'll have to blend our two sets of rules, the Parks and Rec rules. And one of the things I don't know is, I was hoping John Hart was going to be able to come tonight because I haven't talked with him for a while, and I left the message for him and he didn't get back to me because I think we need to sort out a little bit who's going to do what on some of this educational stuff with the parks. John has talked about wanting to upgrade some of the information about the parks. We finally did get that posted on the Parks and Rec website, by the way. We have the links to the 6 conservation areas under Parks and Rec now. So that was a major accomplishment. But John, I know, mentioned that he'd like to update some of that information, and this signage, for instance, would he want to work with Owen? I just don't know. I mean, I think we just need to try to figure out who's doing what. Because it seems like parks ought to be involved in deciding what the signage should be. Because I talked to Michael Dutton the other day, and Stiles and Hart is going to be done like next summer sometime. They're working on Ironworks where the bridge is, where they're taking that bridge down. So that'll probably have to have new signage. And there's Wyman Meadow, and then the senior center is talking about putting a trail in behind the senior center building. So there's a lot of projects that if we're going to put signs, we ought to have a uniform motif for it. And he agreed, and that's what he's trying to work on, but it hadn't gotten very far yet. So when I said, well, we got all these parks in process, with things going on, he said, all right, we'll get to that, but we'll see.
Could you tell me if someone asked me how they could find the parks in town, where would I tell them to look?
Go to Parks and Recreation on the town website. and click on
Okay.
parks.
Okay, so
And
it's all on there
Usually,
now.
Eileen, no, I'm on the town page. It is not under parks. It is under open space committee.
no, it was on Open Space Committee for 2 years, and we finally got it under Parks.
Oh, it's not,
Go to Parks and Rec Department. Yep. I mean, we've been trying to get this up there for months.
I don't think it is.
Well, I found it the other day.
Oh.
It is.
I know years ago, I could only find it under the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, all of those reports, those hundreds of pages of reports are only, so they're somewhere on the Conservation Commission website.
Yeah, all I'm seeing for the Parks and Recreation Commission, it just has a paragraph about it and the members. But when you go to the Open Space Committee page.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Are you on, what page are you on? Are you on did you go into the town?
Yep, bridgewatermass.org.
Okay.
Yep.
And then click on Parks and Rec over in the left hand.
Yep.
And that comes up. And now if you click on Parks, you'll get that link.
No.
Are there maps to go with it, Eileen?
Under the Open Space Committee, I found the maps.
Yeah, no, but yeah,
Okay.
it was there. I mean, I looked for it this week and it was there. So I don't know whether I'll look again when we get off. But
yeah, look again.
Because we just thought it was crazy that even though the information was available on the open space site, if someone wants to go to a park in Bridgewater, they're not going to click on open space. They're going to click on parks.
Right. I could share my screen and show you the map that we do have.
Yeah.
It won't let me right now.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about a map. I'm talking about the links to the descriptions that Lauren.
Yep, those are under Open Space Committee.
Right, they are, but they're also under Parks now.
Okay, we should check because I don't see it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
We'll have to update the Wyman Meadow
signage. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even the link. We have better information probably now and more things we could add to the document that Lauren created.
Yeah, I mean, those documents that Lauren created, really, we need to really add more information to them. You know, they don't really describe the properties very well. They give directions. They give the picture of the parking lot. I think maybe they give a little, they pull one of the paragraphs from the Natural Resources Trust of Bridgewater, 1990 or 2000 studies, but they really don't tell people like, you know, what kind of trails there are, whether they're accessible, whether they're smooth, whether they're bumpy, whether you can take, you know, whether it's good for kids or dogs or whatever. It really seems like we ought to provide more for somebody who's trying to decide if they want to go to a particular park. So.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
But anyway, these steps are small. All right, Owen. Do you want to say anything else? How many more work days do you have scheduled?
Oh, geez. Let me pull up my calendar. I think we have, including this Saturday, which is probably a rain out, 4 more.
Okay.
Yeah, 4 more. Okay. Or no, 5 more, because we have a second Saturday on December 2nd. Right. So I don't know if we're going to need them all.
Yeah, right.
But we're keeping them for now, just to be safe.
Yeah, I'd encourage all of you to get out there if you have a chance. Just it does say that, well, you could go on a work day, but even if you don't go on a work day, you'll probably be okay because you're not members of the public, you're members of the committee. So, but anyway.
I guess, Eileen, did you want to have a conversation about the grant or?
Yes, thank you. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. This is kind of new. So one of the things that Owen mentioned is that talking about signage and publicity and so on is that we could apply for a grant. It's RTP, is that it? Recreational Trail Program?
Recreational Trails Program.
Okay.
Yes.
It's a state grant. And what you want to describe it, Owen? You know a lot more about it than I do. I know absolutely nothing. So.
Yeah, definitely. So I think the way it could work is we go in as co-applicants for this conservation complex of Wyman Meadow and North Fork, and the program funds, trail improvements, signage, kiosks, infrastructure like water crossings, benches, picnic areas. It's a tremendous program. We've had too many projects done because of it to count. And they will fund anything from $5,000 up to I think $200,000. So we could find this project is at a local scale, so we would only be eligible for up to 60,000. But I don't think we would require that much. So I put together a list of some things I thought might be good to include in an application and a proposal. So I guess one thing, I don't know if you've discussed this before, but as we've had these volunteer days, people have expressed it's really difficult for them to find the road to get into Wyman Meadow.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know what the deal is with that access off of Plymouth Street, but if you've been to a lot of open space has, with trails, has a roadside sign.
Right. Oh, sure. Yeah.
Just to help people get in. So I think something like that would be a nice big sign.
Yeah. Yeah, we have definitely talked about that. I mean, I'd always contemplated that we would have to have something at that. I mean, I still almost miss that road every time I go down that street.
Oh, me too, and I'm there every week.
Yeah. The other thing, Owen, just as a temporary thing, I mean, if you had just like a workday sign and you could post it at the end of the guy who's really friendly to our project, maybe he'd let you just post it at the end of his driveway, at least so the volunteers know where they're going.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's like a lawn sign.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just, workday here or something. And so no, we definitely I definitely think we need something at the street. Now I think there's a 4-foot right of way on either side of the road. That's town property, if I remember reading the deed
okay.
At this point. But so, there would definitely be.
Okay, then another thing, you've got that beautiful kiosk that could, I think, use maybe a little love and get a nice big metal panel with all the information of the trail. The trail, the 2 properties. You can have rules on it. You can have safety information on it. That's something. If you want an example, our Great River Preserve has 2 metal large kiosk panels.
Right. Yeah.
That's
those are really nice. Yeah.
And we've had those funded by the RTP program.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And on that note is interpretive panels. So maybe I don't know where, if we want to figure out where you'd want them and what about, but basically just places along the trails that people can stop and learn something about where they are.
Yeah.
The history, the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Hydrology.
Just I'd like to get some information about the acquisition of the farm, it being just the history of the town, Wyman Meadow, and in fact, it used to be a meadow, but it isn't anymore. But that's what it was, a cow field. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I think probably would make sense for this committee to work on like what we want to say about the town property, and then you could work on something, and then we could put them together in some sort of a joint statement about just what we want to say about the area, including the natural resources and stuff. And the other thing is, I don't know, we probably ought to I had to say something about, we ought to say something about the wells too. That would probably make sense to talk about the well act that the town acquired that as, who was the man from BSU that I was talking to the other day, Owen? The biology professor
I
or
feel like his name was John.
John? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was telling him about how we thought we had to have a setback that we couldn't put a trail on a good section of the town property because of the 400-foot setback for the wells. And I don't know if he knows anything about that, but he seemed to think that that wouldn't be an issue, that you couldn't construct something, but that they wouldn't object to a footpath. So that's something I can look into too, because I mean, what we were looking at with that 400-foot setback was just sort of the draft of these plans that was done by that Conway landscaping firm in 2000 or 2001. So, I mean, we aren't even sure where the setbacks are at this point, but that would be worth. I mean, I think if I could get anybody at the sewer water department to talk to me about that, that would be helpful at some point. So, all right.
Do we first need, do we need just to, what do we need to put to apply for the grant? Just a brief description of what we want to do and how a rough order of magnitude cost?
I should have said that. So, we'll put a budget together once we know what we want. And it's a good amount of writing, but we have a person in our department who is kind of responsible for grant writing, and he's really, really good at it. He's actually on the committee that reviews these RTP grants for the state.
Oh, nice.
So, he and I could, prepare the grant and obviously send it to you to review, make sure it all is what we want. But I think the biggest thing for you guys to do is tell us what you would want in it, and us, making sure that that's clear in the proposal.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll have to give that some thought before our next meeting. Nicole, I don't know if you noticed that, but we aren't going to have a meeting in December. I'm going to be out of town, so it'll be January 18th. So yeah, all right. So we'll
When's the grant? Is it due in December?
February.
Oh, okay.
So we have some time.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have a little sheet that I typed up, just some ideas, and I can send it over to you, Eileen.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead and send it to me? And if there's, I'm not leaving. I'm going to be gone the date of our meeting, but I'm going to be here for a while, so maybe I could get something done. Why don't we have a motion to I assume that I have to get authority from somebody in the town to apply for a grant on behalf of the town. You know what? I'm not going to ask for a motion now. We'll worry about that when we have a little more detail. Probably can make more sense to flesh it out a little more. And then I mentioned it. I saw Michael Dutton the other day at the senior center. He was doing a meet and greet, and I mentioned this to him. And actually, the senior center is going to apply for one of these RTP grants also for this part of this area, this trail that they're putting back of the senior center. But that shouldn't be a problem. We're not limited to just one. So. But anyway, he is. I told him we were thinking about this, so I think that's all we need to do for now. So, all right. Anything else about Wyman Meadow?
I think that's all I've got. If anybody has any questions before I go,
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to what I was starting about hunting. You said you found.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And I'm concerned about people going out there without bright colors or orange or whatever, but can it be posted that this is certain hunting, right now it's bow hunting, right now it's rifle hunting, right now it's shotgun hunting, whatever, and just remind people to wear something brightly colored? You don't always think of it.
No, so we have it on linked to our trails page where people go on to find our trails and go to hike. We always strongly recommend it. And I believe it's on our kiosks in the informational section to have bright orange on, or not necessarily orange, but as far as marking, I think people hopefully are aware. If we went around posting at every trail that we had, we'd
Right.
spend our entire winter switching signs out. But we can try. We can maybe some more involved signage here.
Yeah, it's more. It's kind of complicated too. I mean, if you have to post what the seasons are as well. I mean, because there's like certain months where you can do this and certain months where you can do that, and there's bow hunting and guns and I don't know what else. But I looked them up once for some reason recently, and I thought, gee, it's not that. I mean, once you know, the deer season is such and such. But if you're just looking for the first time, it wasn't that clear. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be a big deal if we went out there at some point if we wanted to and just put, a blaze orange sign up there saying it's hunting season. We could do that too from the town's perspective. But the town, I mean, I don't know the answer to whether the town allows hunting on that property. I know people do hunt because when I went out there with Scott McFadden and Eric Boyer like 2 years ago when we started this project, there was somebody there parked, and we figured it was a hunter. And then there was one at the workday, someone out in the boat on the river. So we should check about whether it's allowed on the town property. Of course, it wouldn't be within how many feet of all those houses, but on the other side, we need to find that out too. So
I think once we know what the town's policy is there, that'll help us decide what we're going to do, because we have most of our preserves are no hunting, but we do have two properties right close by to North Fork that do allow hunting. Would be a good spot for it. Yeah. But we'll see.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Owen.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all.
For sure.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Nicole, do you want to report anything about the tree committee?
We've got a lot up in the air that we're working on. We're also kind of talking about publicity and potentially like working on a flyer. Let me think what else. We're trying to get the town designated as a tree city again. It hasn't been since 2005, so that application is going in. So now hopefully moving forward, the town will be a tree city. I think the only other thing that probably this committee should start talking about is kind of preparing for the Arbor Day celebration next year. That we, this year we really had to do it very quickly at the last minute, realizing that you needed to do something in April. But all of this is part of this Tree City USA designation. But if we have a larger celebration, it would be great to have other committees involved. Last year we did just one tree planting, but I'm hoping we can do a little bit more this year, including maybe some educational events at the schools, maybe a tree planting, with children, maybe handing out seedlings. So it could potentially be a nice joint partnership between the two committees. So I will keep us posted on that. If you have any ideas, let me and Pat know too, and we can filter it back through. The only other thing that's kind of been, somebody was passing around articles about this concept of a tiny forest. So there's this, there's these, I think it came from, Europe and these, researchers at Harvard, but basically what they're doing is going into cities or urbanized areas or other places, and they're basically creating like this mini little ecosystem where they plant all these trees
Oh,
in a
yeah,
very small area.
yeah, I read that. I did read
Yes.
that someplace.
So
Okay.
there has been some chat about, some interest in maybe doing a tiny forest in, Bridgewater and potentially in either some of the abandoned open space downtown. I think that was something that they spoke with the downtown revitalization committee about, like the that old abandoned gas station site there at the corner of the college and across from that cemetery. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There's
Okay.
thoughts of that. There's also a big budget and a lot of trees. And somebody once threw out, could we start a little nursery somewhere on a town-owned property? So again, that could be something, in the future we could start to think about. We know about, these 6 open spaces, and there's a few more that aren't really accessible, but are there any that could be viable for the town to basically start their own nursery? So in other words, they could grow larger trees, and then when a tree goes down in a storm, a street tree or something, they can potentially go and replace it, or replace trees in the parks. And
do they have any kind of a replacement program now for anything? Anything that's lost, or no?
they don't we desperately need a forestry department.
Yeah, yeah. I thought we were going to get that.
There's been the recommendation put forward. There's supposed to be the budget. There's still the question of what comes first, the person or the bucket truck. That's like, do we need a tree warden first, or do we need this, certain vehicle? So there's kind of, it's going to take some time, but until we have a true forestry department right now, our highway department, in addition to every other job they have to do, technically would also be responsible for, taking down dangerous trees as well as, replacing.
Yeah, I'm sure they have enough to do doing that. Just taking when it comes to trees, taking down the ones that there's so many along some of the main streets that look like they're in really bad shape. I mean, you can't always
and they're
tell.
lucky that National Grid works with them and will help, kind of helps do some of that, but also they have to kind of currently contract it out, because we don't, when it's a big job, but if it's just a one-off job, they're trying to do that themselves. So there's just not enough staff to the replacement is what is lagging, right? You got to take down something that's dangerous. And then, if you drive around town, there's a lot of missing teeth, I call them. There's a lot of empty tree pits and places where you can see the trunk, of a tree that came down, a street tree. So,
has this been approved? Has the position been approved in the town budget for a forester?
Pat, do you know? I think
I thought there was something in the past, and then they couldn't get someone. Remember?
That might be.
Oh,
they had mentioned that.
They may be having trouble filling the position.
Yeah,
right. But that was a while back.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status is now.
No, that's all in the works. We're hopeful it's going to happen soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, but that is definitely what is lagging. We need to be planting more trees. There's actually money available right now in the pot that the tree committee has available. So it's quite a bit. We could plant a lot of trees.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll get rolling.
Maybe there'll be some opportunities in some of these, I mean, the like Wyman Meadow, for instance, something that, because where the parking area is along the road or something like that. Or, I mean, in Stiles and Hart, of course, is going to have a huge landscaping plan, I know, but whether they've considered putting trees and like along the road or approaches to the parking lot or stuff like that, it'd be interesting to see whether they're really trying to maximize tree planting in these open space areas, or whether it's just kind of an afterthought. It's
yeah. And we may be able to help get some trees, if we have a spot. I will say they're very, very small. So there'll be patience required till you can sit in the shade of it. But, it could be a start.
right, yeah,
especially in some of these areas too, if there's plans for a picnic area or, you know, or it's nice to kind of have the kiosk maybe in, you know, in the shade of a tree that, you know,
right,
someone could be standing there and read it. I feel like the one at, I'm trying to remember the ones at the Wildlands Trust. Those might just have little roofs on them. Those are very
yes,
nice. I think, yeah, that would be the
yeah,
perfect, the
yeah, because
perfect.
one of them's right out in the middle of the field, I know, and,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot in the works, and I think there's potentially a lot of collaboration for our groups to work together.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we consider early next year doing a joint meeting together.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, yeah. All right. Got that. Okay, anything else you want to say? When is Arbor Day going to be? Do you know yet? Oh, it's May 1st, right?
No, no, it's in April. It's usually like the third week of April.
Oh, okay.
So last year it happened to fall on the 28th,
Oh, okay,
so it's probably somewhere around there,
okay.
you know, third to
Okay.
fourth week of April. You can technically do it whenever you want. You
Oh,
don't
you
have
can.
to do it on Arbor Day, but a lot of people just celebrate it on Arbor Day because it lines up with, you know, other things that you may see.
Yeah, okay.
And I know some of the other towns that, you know, have very active seedling handouts. So, although Bridgewater has done that in the past.
Yeah, yeah. I have 4 very healthy 20-year-old evergreens in my yard that were handed out at election day years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Nicole and Pat. All right, so the next thing I have under here is chapter 61 properties. And because Michael's not here, there's really not a whole lot to say about that. But he was looking at the property at the end of South Street that was on the biomap as you know, very valuable ecologically important land. And I contacted Trisha Cassidy, who's the conservation agent in Middleborough. And she used to be in Bridgewater actually years ago. She was involved with NRTB for a while. And because I had heard, and I don't know who told me this, but that Middleborough had just acquired 2 very big parcels right at the end of South Street. So on the Middleborough line, of course, but right in that area that we've been trying to zero in on because it's so close to the river and it's got that kind of wildlife corridor that goes up between Vernon Street and South Street. And there's a Bertarelli property and another one that she, I can't remember the name. I have the map that she sent me. But anyhow, what I had talked to her about at some point was just, you know, it'd be great if we could latch on to that, like make some, find some spot in Bridgewater that would be adjacent to what they're trying to do, because it's a really big parcel that they're working on there. And I think it's pretty much, I think the town has voted to purchase it now. And there were 2 different ones, and that maybe that would be kind of an incentive for us to say, let's put together this large eco system area at the end that near the river, which is such critical space, and you know, for flood control and everything. So I will continue to follow up her. She sent me a map, and I really can't figure out where those properties are in relation to the one that Michael Silvio was looking at the end of South Street. So I was going to wait and send it to him, but because he was out of town, I didn't bother. So I'll talk to him about that when he's back in town. But anyway, so that's just one other thing that's going on that. And they also, Middleborough has approved, is going to purchase a beautiful farm. I can't remember what the name of the farm is, but it's got the Nemasket River running through it. So, all right. Lake Nip. Pat, anything new going on that?
Well, the MEPA has accepted the Claremont environmental report that they submitted. They just announced that the other day. They did issue a lot of conditions, which I haven't read yet, but one of the other Lake Nip members said that there are probably a dozen conditions, and they have to, Claremont now has to file a supplemental DEIR, or actually it's called FEIR, which is final.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then if they don't accept that, there will be a supplemental final. So
Oh,
it's never over here.
that was, yeah, that we Nicole, I don't know if you read the minutes or not, but we submitted a comment letter, another comment letter to us. That's right. I asked you if you could, I don't know if you ever saw my email. I told you that was coming up, and also the Conservation Commission will be hearing this at some point, and that we would love to get your expertise. But pretty much what I did is copied most of what was in your letter before, as well as I can't remember now. That was 2 weeks ago, and it's gone from my brain, fortunately. But God, those things are a lot of work too. I mean, to look at that hundreds of pages of the SEIR and try to
and their response is 300 pages.
The MIPA's is?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's good news if they, they've taken it seriously, but they got that out pretty quickly because the comments were just due November 6th.
I know, it was very fast.
Makes me think they didn't read our comments. But
the Melissa from our Lake Nip group said that she had talked to Purvi Patel, who is, the one who received our comments, and MIPA had met with the Carneys not that long ago. So apparently they came in and told them what nice guys they were. So
yeah. Well, they've made at the planning board hearings, they've commented a number of times that they were working with MIPA, that the town shouldn't worry about them getting MIPA approval, that they've been talking to MIPA and that they were going to, everything was going to be okay. But so,
and since they pulled out 2 projects over here, one was the assisted living,
right,
and the other was
the office building, right?
And so that made the whole project look better to MIPA, I guess.
Yeah.
I suppose. So.
But it still includes the restaurant and the
yes, it's still on their project. I don't think that's going to go anywhere simply because it wasn't included originally.
Yeah, plus they have to get the zoning changes and everything.
And then the Rivers Protection Act. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing how much work it is to respond to those things, and the number of hours that you and Melissa and that whole group have put in is quite impressive.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed that Mr. Ajamian is leaving the planning board.
I know it. Yeah, Ray Ajamian is getting off of the planning board.
Yeah, he's been really good about the environment.
Yeah.
And he's a strong leader, so he'll be missed.
Yeah, that's too bad. All right. That's it. Oh, well, so the other thing is, do we have any, so the Lake Nip was not going to go forward to the Conservation Commission until the planning board signed off on the project. And the planning board delayed their sign off at the last meeting. So that's coming up when, Pat? It's December 6th,
I think.
Okay. And so assuming it gets approved with whatever conditions by the planning board, it will then be taken up by Concom.
Right.
So anyway, if we're going to, I don't know, depending on when they schedule it.
That's going to be a very, very important part of this whole application.
Yeah, anyway, Nicole, when that comes around, if you could possibly, weigh in on some of those wetland things, because I don't know those regulations at all. So yeah, okay. And I may be in Florida too, depending on how quickly they get through this. Hopefully it won't happen too fast over the holidays, but
yeah, I'm on vacation before Christmas and everything too, but I doubt it will not go through in one meeting.
Right. Yes, right, definitely. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I guess never say never. But even small projects usually don't, because there's at least some comment that they have to address.
Imagine so. All right. Anybody have anything else?
When are you moving away, Eileen?
Pardon me? Pat?
When are you leaving?
I'll tell you offline. I'll take Maureen's advice and not publicize them.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yeah. So.
Actually, one question about going back to the NIP, that the planning board, did they approve with conditions, or are they still, is it still in the process? They have not approved.
They have not approved.
And Ray is going to stay on until this, to see this through, so he doesn't leave the big projects that he's reviewing in, you know.
Right, the two, right, Edgewood and Claremont.
Yep. Okay.
But he might not be able to leave right away if it gets dragged
I know.
Right, yeah, the way that's, because they thought they were going to wrap it up at the last planning board meeting and they didn't, so.
Right.
All right, we are adjourned at 8:06. Our next meeting is January 18th.
Good night, all.
Get it on your calendar, Nicole.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to do it right now. January 18th.
January 18th.
Actually, football season will be over then. My life is a little easier.
Okay.
Little. January 18th. All right, I'm doing it now.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yep, you too.